Shall I start, Prabhu? Yeah, I can see like Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayat Shinvatam Swakata Krishna Punyastravana Kirtana Hrudayantasto hi abhadrani vidunuti suhusritam Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 1, text number 2, 3, and 4. Text number 2. नानूनं मुक्तसङ्गानं सदृशनं द्विजर्षभा गृहेशो अभिविनेशोऽयं पुंसां भवितं हर्हति. Synonyms: na, not; nunam, certainly; mukta sanganam, who are free from attachment; sadrushanam, such; dvija rushabha, O greatest of the brahmanas; gruheshu, to family life; abhinivesha, excessive attachment; ayam, this; pumsham, of persons; bhavitam, to be; arhati, is possible. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation: Devotees are certainly liberated persons. Therefore, O greatest of the Brahmanas, they cannot possibly be absorbed in family affairs. Purport: In Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, it is said that by executing devotional service to the Lord, one can understand the transcendental position of the living being and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot be understood by any means except bhakti. The Lord confirms this in Srimad Bhagavatam 11:14-21. Bhakta bhaktyaham ekaya grahaya. Only by executing devotional service can one appreciate me. Similarly, in Bhagavad Gita 18.55, Lord Krishna says, Bhaktyamam abhijanati. Simply by discharging devotional service, one can understand me. Thus, for a bhakta to become attached to family affairs is impossible. Since a bhakta and his associates are liberated, everyone is searching after ananda or bliss, but in the material world, there can never be any bliss. It is only possible in devotional service. Attachment for family affairs and devotional service are incompatible. Therefore, Maharaja Parikshit was somewhat surprised to hear that Maharaja Priyavrata was simultaneously attached to devotional service and to family life. Text number 3. Mahatam kalu viprarshe uttama shloka padayo chaya nivritta chittanam na kutumbe spruhamati. Synonyms: Mahatam, of great devotees; Kalu, certainly; Vipra Rishe, or great sage among the Brahmanas; Uttama Shloka Padaya, of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead; Chaya, by the shade; Nivritta, satiated; Chittanam, whose consciousness; Na, never; Kutumbe, to family members; Spruha Mati, consciousness with attachment. Translation and purports by His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation: Elevated Mahatmas who have taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are fully satiated by the shade of those lotus feet. Their consciousness cannot possibly become attached to family members. Purport: Srila Narottama Dasa Thakura has sung Nithai Pada Kamala Koti Chandra Susitala E Chayaya Jagad Judaya. He describes the shade of the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda as being so nice and cooling that all metalists who are always in the blazing fire of material activities may come under the shade of his lotus feet and be fully relieved and satiated. The distinction between family life and spiritual life can be experienced by any person who has undergone the tribulations of living with a family. One who become one who comes under the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord never becomes attracted by the activities of family life. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 2.59, Param Drishta Nivartate, one gives up slower engagements when he experiences a higher taste. Thus, one becomes detached from family life as soon as he comes under the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. Text number 4. संशयोऽयं महान् ब्रह्मन् दारागरसुधादिषु सत्तस्य यत्सिद्धिरद्भुत कृष्णे च मतिरच्युता. Synonyms: samshaya, doubt. Ayam, this mahan great brahman, O brahmana. Dara, to the wife. Agara, home. Suta, children. Adishu, and so on. Sattasya, of a person attached. Yat, because. Siddhi, perfection. Abhut, became. Krishna, unto Krishna. Cha, also. Mati, attachment. Achyuta, infallible. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. The king continued, O great Brahmana, this is my great doubt. How was it possible for a person like King Priyavrata, who was so attached to wife, children, and home, to achieve the topmost infallible perfection in Krishna consciousness? Purport. King Parikshit wondered how a person so attached to wife, children, and home could become so perfectly Krishna conscious. Prahlad Maharaj has said, Matirna Krishne Paratha Svatova Mito Mito Bipadyate Graha Vrutanam. A Grahavata, one who has taken a vow to execute family duties, has no chance to become Krishna conscious. This is because most Vratas are guided by sense gratification and therefore gradually glide down to the darkest regions of material existence. Adanta Gobir Vishatam Tamishram. How can they possibly become perfect in Krishna consciousness? Maharaja Parikshit asked Sukadeva Goswami to resolve this great doubt. Thus end of purport. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gnananjala Chalakaya Chakshurulmitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते रमापद स्वामी निति नामिने. नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने. नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे. हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. I humbly bow down and seek blessings from all the assembled Vaishnavas to glorify this summary. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to purify myself, and please forgive me for any shortcomings, misinterpretations, or any speculations. I'm summarizing this verse from the purport, and also I had a lecture from Rompad Maharaj from a lecture from 2016. So we are continuing Canto 5. Technically, the yesterday verse and these three verses, nothing but the question raised by King Parikshit to Sukadeva Goswami. And the remaining chapter summarizes that solution and answers to this question basically raised by King Parikshit Maharaj. So, like Prabhupada described in general, the relationship between Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam is that Bhagavad Gita is undergraduate study and Srimad Bhagavatam is like a graduate study. In that context, the most of the ideas explained in Bhagavad Gita are explained deeply in detailed manner, comprehensively, thoroughly in different angles in Srimad Bhagavatam. But always the essential message is present in both Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam as well. So in that context, two of the major things from Bhagavad Gita has taken and expanded in this canto. And one is the transcendental nature of certain things within this world. And second one is like how to extricate or leave the soul involved by error or by illusion. That is how to get out of from this mental activity. So with these two main themes, the canto is expanded. So in that context, by the process of descending knowledge, we have understood so far that certain things are spiritual. Yes. So for example, even if I'm just speaking to myself, before coming to Krishna consciousness, it's very difficult to realize and also have the faith in the God in general as well. But after with the descending process, this descending knowledge, we have seen so far that the personality of Godhead, the process of connecting with Him, that is bhakti, and the bhakta, the devotee, we who is engaged in this connection process with the Supreme Lord, and also in general living entity Atma, the person who is in uh, conducting or the doing this bhakti, who is high. So, and the overall, this bhakti has a lot of transcendental potency to understand beyond the material nature or material platform or material circumstances. So that's what Prabhupada gave the opportunity for us, but not like in general. The people outside I have seen, they teach about the religion, of course, some things, just something better for this life or maybe next life. That's not our ultimate goal. Just our ultimate goal is within this life, within these activities, whatever we are doing, whatever we are seeing, from that we need to take the full realizations of transcendental things. So in that context, even from Bhagavad Gita we can see 8.16, ఆ బ్రహ్మ భువనాల్లోక పునరవర్తినో అర్జున మాముపేత్య తు కౌంతేయ పునర్జన్మన vidyate. From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all the places of our misery only, where is the repeated birth and death takes place simultaneously. So for one who attends to my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again. That's what Krishna says. So in that context, like again, why this repeated birth and is continuously happening here? We need to see it like different lens, because the spirit enjoying independently from Supreme Lord, which is continuing and bringing us here again and again. In that one, even practicing devotional service as well. So if you are doing for material enjoyments, we have the benefit, but the process is very slow. Same thing here in these three verses, the attachments to family life. That's a question raised by Parshit Maharaj. Generally, when we bring the sense object to the senses, it obviously attaches. So in that context, Guru Maharaj explained beautiful example how these how how we are so much attached to the material things. So there is a pastime, example taken from there, like during the period of Ramanujacharya. So Ramanujacharya wants to give an example from there and shows us like uh, Ramanujacharya giving the lot of affectionate to the newly married couple, and immediately disciples or the close associates, they asked that why you are showing like so much of affectionate to the uh, newly couple. And the Ramanujacharya gave an exercise to the disciples, associates, like go to that newly couple home and ask the husband to come and visit me. So as soon as husband went out of the home, they waited until that woman, the wife of that newly couple, once she go to the sleep, and these associates enter into the home and they stole all the ornaments, the gold and everything. So somehow, with the sound, she woke up and immediately she chased the associates. But she knows that these associates are Vaishnavas. So by the evening or some that by the time when the husband came back, at that time the woman is complaining and telling the whole story. Immediately, husband told that why don't you give it to them? They are Vaishnavas. We need to serve them. We need to give whatever they ask in general. But the wife rejected that. I mean, redundant on that one. So from in that context, Maharaj is explaining that see, one within the family, one is strongly attached to the worldly possessions, and the other one is purely interested in serving the Vaishnavas. So this attachment and detachment present in our life, no matter, but to what context, to what extent we need to attach to the things that we need to realize. For example, we have many things in our family life like home, house, car, etc., different things, family, wife, children. But are we using those things in to please Krishna or not? We need to introspect to ourselves. That's what Maharaj is explaining there. So attachment is required towards Krishna, and all simultaneously detachment means that we should not give up the things we need to use in service to Krishna. That's what the message Maharaj is explaining very clearly over there. So in that context, by practicing bhakti without attachment to anything except Krishna service is very very important. Otherwise we will get attachments to the things whatever we have in that so in the purport also it is stating that Srimad Bhagavatam, from the reference of Srimad Bhagavatam level 14 and 21, bhaktyaham ekaya grahaya shraddhayatma priyasatam bhakti punati mams nishta swapakan api sambhavat. So only by practicing unalloyed devotional service with full faith in me can obtain me. With the Supreme Personality of Godhead, I am naturally dear to my devotees who take me as the only goal of their loving service. By engaging in such pure devotional service, Even the dog eaters can purify themselves from the contamination of their low birth. That means we need to have the clarity, uh, why we are doing and what is the purpose. So in that thing, when we in that is thing, when we develop the firm faith, that means ultimate goal is Krishna, and I'm very dear to him. He will protect me always, no matter wherever I'm present. In when you develop, as long as that faith, yes, it's done. I mean, like we are like in a very good stage. But unfortunately, we are in a place in Kali Yuga with great opportunities of distractions. So these type of distractions, attachments will be there always, no matter. But we need to practice to overcome that, and we need to be have to be nishtha, firm faith in sadhana. So by practicing that bhakti, gradually we will see progress that is guaranteed as per Bhagavad Gita 18.55. Bhaktyamam abhijanati yavan yaschasmi tattvata tato mam tattvato gnatva vishate tad anantaram. So one can understand me as I am, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, only by devotional service. And when one is in full Krishna consciousness of me, I mean, like such devotional service, he can enter with that devotional service, he can enter the kingdom of God. So ultimately, bhakti is very powerful with irrespective of our birth conditions as well. No matter, we can complain that I'm like this, I'm rich, poor, etc., etc., etc. No, whatever we have, we can do with the pure bhakti. Then that is the ultimate path for the success in the life, in the for the self realization. So when one comes under the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, never becomes attracted by the activities of family life as well. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 2.59, Param Drishtva Nivartate. One gives up lower engagements when he experiences a higher taste. Thus, one becomes detached from family life as soon as he becomes under the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. So, similarly, the even the basic things, whatever we have, uh, that is the nature of the material world that we will get attached. For example, if you are studying the subject, anything could be in some engineering subject or some subject, as soon as we practice, we study certain time, we will get attached to that one and we'll forget that, and we will get puffed up in that one. So in that scenario, we have to be careful why I'm doing, what is the purpose behind it. So even while chanting also, no matter every day we chant, we do most of the time it will be offenses. Just I'm speaking to myself. So we chant, we do read the 10 offenses. The 10th one is like even very very important. Like for me, like last offense is to maintain mental attachments even after hearing and chanting the holy name of the Lord God. The idea is that by chanting the holy name without offense, one can obtain elevation to the liberated platform. That is also one kind of bhakti. On the liberated platform, one is free from all material attachment. Thus, if one chants the holy name and still has material attachments, he must be committing some offense, because we are investing time in it just to make the offense, which may cause entanglement again. So we have to be very careful in doing the bhakti, whatever it is, chanting, all the nine process of the bhakti, chanting, hearing, and etc. So in that scenario, all these attachments, no matter it will be there, uh, but we have to be careful to overcome that, and we need to practice slowly, consciously, so that we will see progress in Krishna consciousness. So in this scenario, in this context, so for the next verse onwards, Sukadeva Goswami replies to Parikshit Maharaj how to be in form faith, I mean, like, how to develop the form faith and etc. We will see that in the upcoming verses. So basically, that's my summary. I will stop it